The Democrat infighting continues. And Kamala Harris, I don't know who did her dirty on this one, but somebody decided it would be a great idea to film Kamala Harris drunk talking to the American people. There is no world in which she is not sloshed beyond all recognition in this video. I mean, truly sloshed. Like this lady's 3 bottles deep at this point. She's gone into the red wine. She went from the rosé to the red wine, and she has been drinking heavily. And here she is giving a note of encouragement to her supporters, while clearly, shall we say, in hobo mode.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
I mean, the wine glass here is just off camera. Don't let anyone take your power from you. Well, lady, I don't even know what you're talking about, but I hope that you're enjoying your life more now that you're no longer going to be president of the United States. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama is out there marketing books on anti-anxiety. So things are going well inside the Democratic Party.
What do we have here? My new workbook, Overcoming, is out. It's going to be on shelves. This is the first time I've held it myself. This is a timely gift or purchase for yourself, because this is a workbook that takes you through some techniques and exercises based on some of the insights I shared with you all in the light that we carry. So I encourage you, particularly during this time, during the holiday season, during a time where we feel a little out of sorts, a little anxious, I urge you to pick this book up and just walk through some of the exercises, and also do it in some groups. I mean, I know there are a lot of great book groups out there, and you guys might find that using some of these exercises, techniques, and tips as a form of conversation. So I hope you find this useful.
Wellness check on the Democratic Party here, guys. They're having some real problems. Meanwhile, Jen O'Malley Dillon, who is the campaign manager for the gigantic failed Kamala Harris Hindenburg of an effort, she was on with the Pod Save America bros. Again, these people are combined, single-handedly responsible for making Donald Trump president twice. Here she was explaining that they actually didn't do anything wrong. Actually, when they basically hid Kamala Harris from the media for months at a time, that wasn't doing anything wrong.
I would say, I mean, look, I am not media hater by any measure. And I think that, you know, we women don't get far in life talking about double standards. So that's not the point. But I do think a narrative, 107 days, 2 weeks up because of a hurricane, 2 weeks talking about how she didn't do interviews, which, you know, she was doing plenty, but we were doing in our own way. We had to, you know, be the nominee, had to find a running mate and do a rollout. I mean, there was all these things that you kind of want to factor in, but real people heard in some way that we were not going to have interviews, which was both not true and also so counter to any kind of standard that was put on Trump that I think that was a problem. And then on top of that, we would do an interview, and to Stephanie's point, the questions were small and processy and about like
dumb.
They were not informing a voter who was trying to listen to learn more or to understand. And I'm not here to say that you know the whole system was focused on us incorrectly. I'm just saying, like, again, of the things we need to explore as we move forward as a campaign and as a country, that does a disservice to voters. And, you know, I think back and think we should have signaled more of our strategy early on about podcasts and who we were trying to reach.
It's not going to work out for them. It's just not going to. Meanwhile, David Plouffe, another campaign advisor from the Obama team, he was out there suggesting, you know, the real problem is just very hard for Democrats to win the battleground states. Here he is with the crooked media boys.
It's always worth reminding people, it's really hard for Democrats to win battleground states. Let's look at Pennsylvania. 25% of the electorate is liberal, roughly. 34% is conservative. By the way, in most battleground states, that conservative number is over 40. So in every battleground state, there's more conservative than liberals. So in Pennsylvania, if experts are to believe, Trump won conservatives 91-8, Harris won liberals 93-6. Moderates, Harris won 56-43, but you kind of got to win 60% of them. right? For Democrats to win battleground states, it is a false choice. You want to maximize your base, of course. And that was a place where we spent enormous time, a lot of resources. That's critical. And obviously, I think in Milwaukee, just to use that as an example, we hit our turnout targets, fell a little bit short in Philly and Detroit. So that's not good. That's part of the equation. You've got to couple that with dominating in the middle, not just winning it a little. We have to dominate the moderate vote. And I think as we look ahead to 26 and 28, particularly where you have seen drift amongst non-college voters generally, particularly those of color specifically, we obviously have to get some of that back. We can't afford any more erosion there. The math just doesn't work.
Maybe you should actually, appeal to moderates then by being moderate. I know it's a very, very weird thought. It's more on that in a moment. First, look, nobody wants to think about debt. Here is the cold, hard truth. Many of us will get deeper in debt during the holiday season. Last year, this is pretty staggering. Half of American consumers took on debt just to pay for the holidays. And here's the thing. It's never too early to start planning it your way out. Because if you get stuck behind that 8 ball, life becomes really tough. My friends at PDS Debt can help with a personalized solution just for you. If you're making payments every month on your debt and watching your balances stay exactly the same, that ends right now. PDS has solutions specifically designed to help you get out of this cycle. Unlike the government's debt relief programs, everyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies. No minimum credit score required. That's right. Bad and fair credit accepted. They'll help you save more while paying off your debt in a fraction of the time. I've seen what debt can do to families, especially around the holiday season. That's why I trust PDS Debt to help my listeners find real solutions that actually work. Start planning today. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/Shapiro. It only takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/Shapiro. That's pdsdebt.com/Shapiro. Meanwhile, the Hollywood types are completely melting down. Alec Baldwin, who when he's not shooting cameramen, is apparently on press junkets, he was out there explaining that Americans are really uninformed, which is something to hear from Alec Baldwin, short-lived MSNBC host.
In my country, without going into significant detail, half the people in the country are happy and half the people in the country are very unhappy. There's a hole, there's a vacuum. There is a gap, if you will, in information for Americans. Americans are very uninformed about reality, what's really going on with climate change, Ukraine, Israel, you name it, all the biggest topics in the world. Americans have an appetite for a little bit of information.
So, yeah, that's really the problem. The American people are uninformed, says Alec Baldwin. Or how about Sharon Stone trashing Donald Trump as a fascist? Again, Hollywood not doing well throughout this entire process.
Italy has seen fascism.
Oh, my God.
Italy has seen these things. You guys, you understand what happens. You have seen this before. My country is in its adolescence. Adolescence is very arrogant. Adolescence thinks it knows everything.
Wow.
Adolescence is naive and ignorant and arrogant. And we are in our ignorant, arrogant adolescence.
I love that she's so historically ignorant.
We haven't seen this before in our country.
I love this. God, she's so
Americans
stupid.
Who don't travel, who 80% don't have a passport, who are uneducated, are in their extraordinary naivete.
Oh my God. Can we pause here just for a second? I want to point out that she doesn't know bleep all about history, like truly nothing about history. Okay, the United States was founded in 1776 with the Declaration of Independence. Okay, which means that the United States is now approximately 250 years old. How old is the nation of Italy? Like as an actual consolidated entity? She certainly does not know the answer to this. She's acting as though the United States is really young and Italy is really old. The Risorgimento, which was the actual unification movement in Italy, completed in 1861. Okay, the nation of Italy, as currently constituted, the country of Italy as currently constituted, was formed almost 90 years after the United States was formed. She's going to point that out here, but what is she even talking about? What is she even talking about? The United States is in its adolescence and facing down fascism. Oh my God. But you know what? Their mental unwellness is a sign that they're losing, which is a good thing. And Joy Behar is sort of the icing on the birthday cake of Hollywood level idiocy here. Here she is suggesting that Donald Trump is an autocrat because he's found a scapegoat. Because if there's one group of people who are tolerant, accepting, open-minded to all sorts of political viewpoints, it is the ladies of The View.
So we're all thinking like, oh, he's talking about cats and dogs and crazy stuff. But a lot of voters who aren't tuning into the day-to-day news are seeing these targeted ads that are reaching them where they are.
Fear-mongering ads about trans people.
But then some are,
a lot of
the majority of his were about the
a lot of scapegoating. And every autocrat throughout history has found a scapegoat, and that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way around that. That is true.
I mean, there is a way around that, which is that when he points out that illegal immigration is bad, that's not him scapegoating, that's a policy critique. But again, keep going down this route, folks, and see how it works out for you. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.